carry on. Just now some students mentioned about the project. Yeah, I think you have many choices. Number one, like we find a Kaggle data set or some other large data sets, and then you just apply machine learning methods, and if possible, you add some statistical thinking. I mean, make your method smart and not necessarily very innovative. If it's very innovative, I think you actually can publish it, right? Yeah, show you have some thinking on it. Okay. Yeah, it goes back. So now let's introduce the data structure. Number one, for structured data. For this one, here you can see structured data usually means what? The data that is sorted into a row and column structure. And here, every row represents a single observation, and the column represents the characteristic of that observation. Yeah, for example, for your row, just like every year, right? Like the first year, the second year, the third year. And then the next one, just like the country or some economic indices or so forth. So usually if you have like several variables and they might be correlated, so you may consider use a row column. Here, if you have row and column, that means you actually have what? You have a matrix object, right? Yeah, matrix object. Yeah. And also more complex, people may have what? Have the tensor objects. Yeah, for tensor objects, imagine that, yeah, like for our classroom, horizontal, vertical, and also around this way, right? So this is a three-way or mode 3 tensor. Yeah. And then for matrix, it just means a two-way tensor, a low dimensional, right? Yeah, low dimensional tensor. So this is structured data. Besides structured data, another one just like the unstructured data. For unstructured data here, this is the type of data that is in a free form. So what does a free form mean? For example, you see the text data, right? Yeah, you see like the ChatGPT, for ChatGPT, like you talk with a machine. Why? You may know that like when they have such text mining study, they scan what text things into, and then just find out the insights, the pattern. And here, usually text will just like raw audio signals that must be parsed further to become structured. So for the parse, I mean, here parse just means 结构, okay? Just means just like structured. And here, like the audio signals, yeah, you see right now, there are a lot of like the videos or some more things. For example, like this year, I have one publication. Is about the Parkinson disease. For Parkinson disease people, when they work, there would be some problem. So a master student is just help. Like for every video is a three order tensor, right? So if you just slow down the time, then you will get the frame, 框. Yeah. So frame. And then you try to find out which frame there might be some change. So we just try to detect such change points to see when people, like you diagnose that people may have the Parkinson. Yeah. So this is the audio signals. Yeah. And if you have like some data includes text, includes audio signal, we call it what? Multimodality, 多模态, right? So multimodality data. For example, like the ChatGPT, so it's actually it contains the multimodality. It can generate you a lot of things. For example, you request you to do a slide for you, or like draw a picture for you, or just give you some, like the template. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one. But here, for such unstructured data, people try to find the ways, yeah, so that it can become structured. People have a lot of experience when data is structured. Yeah, so this is the one. And here, yeah, we can show you, yeah, if you use Python, here, attention, here we have the in and then out. Yeah, so the third hour, the tutor, Mr. Si Jianqian, will teach you how to apply Python through Colab, and then you can do such coding online. So he'll import pandas as, and he'll, this one, for pound, usually pound means what? Pound means a remark. It explains what you are doing or give a remark, give you something that's give you a reminder. And then here we can use like the data, and here you can give DF just means the degree freedom. And then here out means the results. Yeah, for example, here it shows you like the the product price and the date. And here, it also contains something like the reviews. Yeah, here the reviews, it shows you more things here. Here you can see when you do something, here you can give some, the wording or just like give some command. Yeah. Here, we just want to show you something. I mean, this is a mild example, right? Yeah, just we want to show you. In the third hour, I request Jian to show you how to use the Colab Python to do a SVM. Yeah, SVM is a very simple machine learning method. And then people can use this to do classification. So later you can try. The data uploaded there already, and the code is there. Sujin will display you how to do it first, and then later you just try to do, particularly for those students if you have lots used the Python before. Okay, so here is one thing. The next one is about the situation here. So why data science, right? So why do we need data science? Definitely it's very, very useful. And right now you see a lot of new disciplines and just appeared. For many universities in China, they just increase like the data science related subjects and reduced some arts related subjects. And here we can see, for example, the first one. The first one here is the sheer volume of data makes it impossible for a human to pass it in a reasonable time frame. So this is the first one. Data is very huge, but if you use data science, I mean, if you take it as a weapon, if you grasp what it is, so this one will help you analyze the data. And the second one, data is collected in various forms and from different sources, and often come in a very unstructured format. So here it actually raises three questions. The first one, various forms. So how can we do, for example, do we need to unify them, or just like, do we have some like multimodality methods that can simultaneously to deal with the different formats? Yeah, for example, like one of our recent work, we have to deal with the fungus images of two eyes, 眼底图片. So, you know, for everybody, you have two eyes, right? And then usually there would be a phenomenon, we call it interocular asymmetry, 视光不对称性. So what does the last one mean? For example, like me, one of my eye has 300 degree and the other one 600 degree, quite unbalanced. Yeah, so that's what we call it interocular symmetry. So it means what? It means if you input a left eye fundus image, it means one group or one channel. And for the other eye, that means it would be the other channel or the other group. Yeah, for the fundus images of one person's two eyes, then you cannot like take them as one observation, but actually for these two fundus images, there would be some correlation. Yeah, because they are heterogeneous. That means they're different, right? But the majority of them would be the same. So then it generates a lot of problem. When you input a pair of the fundus images, how can you handle it? If you take a CNN backbone, then here you have to consider something. For example, like my PhD students just use a frozen the major parts and use adapter to train the difference. So what does the last one mean? For left eye and the right eye, the majority is the same, but there would be some difference. For example, if you used to sleep, use your right hand side, then possibly the right eye may not be that good, right? And also like if you use your right hand, so usually person's right eye, may not be good as your left eye, right? So if you use adapter, that means you train only a few parameters, and then this one will save your computing cost. Yeah, so this is one problem. But if you consider use some SOTA, for example, if you use the vision transformer, for vision transformer 10 years ago, it appeared already. But until right now, for a transformer, it's still the SOTA. So if people try to use a vision transformer to study a pair of the fundus images, how can we do? So then the problem is, how can you catch the difference between the two fundus images, right? So this is one problem. Another problem, just like, if you study eyes, there will be different clinical scores. For example, people may care about something we call it SE, 就屈光度. Yeah, and also you may consider something like the axial length, 眼轴长. Yeah, so this is some, the ophthalmic terminologies. So if you study both eyes, that means what? You actually have what? Totally 4 responses. Like for left eye, you have 2 responses, SE and AL. For right eye, you also have, right? So in such a situation, can you just like incorporate the correlation among your responses into a vision transformer? So that would be another problem. Yeah, but this kind of question just belongs to research question. If you can handle that, it means that it deserves some publication. For our projects, it's low loss rate so hard, but you have to show you have some good idea how to use some machine learning techniques well. Yeah, so this is something I just want to introduce, how to like different sources. Left eye is one source, right eye is another source. If you have a multi-source, then how can you use their correlation information? That would be a problem. Yeah. Next one, data can be missing, incomplete, or just flat out. Yeah, here we need a lot of techniques. For example, data missing or incomplete. For missing, you may consider imputation. For example, usually people use the mean regression to impute, right? But for incomplete, there might be many ways. If you learn something about survival analysis, you then know the right truncation, left truncation, right? So, or right censoring. So here you need some techniques. For example, can some Bayesian method work? And also sometimes for the measurements, there might be some phenomenon, we call it LOD, limits to detection. What does it mean? That means if there would be a threshold like 0.5, if it's less than 0.5, you can hardly detect it. But when it's greater than or equal to 0.5, you can detect. So this is called LOD, or you may say this is a left truncation. So when your data have such a phenomenon, then how people can do that? Simply just throw it, or just we take some action to complete the data. That these some strategies. And next one, oftentimes we will have data a very different scale. You know, if the data scale different, you should be cautious whether we should unify to the same the unit scale so that the comparison is fair. Yeah, so that would be some problem we have to face. And here, look at one example here. For example, if you have a CT, the image set, yeah, here is the input and then output, right? So for this input, CT image set, that means you have some 3D objects, and then here you have the pre-processing, 预处理, and then for this pre-processing, next one, you have to do the region segmentation, 区域分割. Yeah, so this is one image task. So what does this region segmentation mean? When you try to scan, for example, if you try to scan one's land, so you may scan all the organs. That one may say this, then you have to take it out. And then for the remaining, you have to do some segmentation. And then you can decide which parts would be important. And then your variable becomes what? Your variable is not a random variable like a number, but indeed it's like a region, right? And for this region, you scan, and then you can check the color. Like light color, the pixels like small, and dark color, the pixels large. And if there might be some disease, for example, the cancer, so it would be bright white, and then the pixel values would be high. So here would be some the image knowledge inside. And next one, here if you try to do some classification, yeah, like you try to find out which region may be highly related to or act as a signal to show a disease. And then finally comes out the overall infection probability. So here you can see from left hand inputs to right hand side here the infection probability. And if you look at the next, yeah, if you just look at this place, here parallelly you can see like image processing methods based on some hue values. And then here you have to use some NN. You know, for deep learning, we know the for color would be what? The neural network, 神经网络. I remember last year when my current PhD, when he wrote email to me, I just know that in his resume, he said research interest, NN, and then GNN, transformer, and more things. Yeah, so here for NN, this is the kernel of deep learning. But right now, you know that people have more and more different, I mean, the deep learning neural network. So that means people have many DNN. Yeah. But for this course, we do not focus on that, okay? We just try to, again, I just want to tell you, later you will see some Venn diagrams. Here we try to have everything, but not deep. Some math, some stats, some machine learning, and some like AI. Yeah, everything, not much, but combined together. This is our data science. And next one about the image classification model. Yeah, so for the image, like 2D image, matrix, maybe 1-to-1. And next one, like the CT, MRI or fMRI, right? MRI just like a 3D tensor. fMRI, it has some extra time axis. That means what? It would be a 4D tensor. Yeah. And then whatever for such image, video, how can we handle that? Yeah, PyTorch and Python will help much. And finally here, like the Loess or Bayesian function. So this one help you to decide the overall infection probability. So here you can see for the two process, or one you may say is an image process, and the second one just like the method process. And so it means what? When you try to do so, you lead people from what? People who are knowledgeable about COVID-19. So this means what? The domain knowledge, 专业知识. For example, a specialist, right? Just like just now before this one, I introduced my own research about the ophthalmology. That means we need the eye specialist. They provide us knowledge. For example, it is such eye specialist who told us AL is important. It can not only be important in diagnosing some disease, but it can also help you to diagnose the level of the myopia, right? So we then try to jointly use SE and AL values, and then we learn from the ophthalmology scanning to decide how can we save our cost, and then we know the AL value. And also like the other one, just now I mentioned, people have two eyes, but before today, do you know the interocular asymmetry? I suppose no, right? But when I explain to you, you understand immediately. Just 两只眼睛是不对称, yeah. But when you learn this knowledge from the eye specialist, you may consider more. Can we do some AI for them? And finally, we do something successfully. So we have some ophthalmic AI for them, so that they can use both eyes fundus images. And the last one greatly improve the high myopia prediction. Yeah, this would be a collaboration among the domain knowledge and the next one, like statistical skills, right? Statistical skills, for example, like my role, I am a statistician. And the next one, not only statistical skills, we need what? We also need AI knowledge. That's quite different. We need people in engineering, in computer science. Yeah, for example, like right now, I have a new PhD. He just got his bachelor, yeah, this June. But I said, I can only call you a semi-supervisor, just like the half supervisor. Why? He knows AI. I do not know. I just use AI, but he knows AI. So I mean, he can collaborate with me. Yeah, like I have some idea, we have some problem to solve, but he can apply his AI knowledge to help. So here, not only the domain knowledge, we also need what? We need statistical skills and AI skills or computer science skills. See that? And also the next one is about the production development skills. So that means right now, I think my role seems like more like the production and the development skills possessor. Yeah, because my PhD will help me the skill in statistics. My another PhD like in CS, right? And also we have collaborators from other domain. Yeah, we try to solve the problems in other domain. So in such thing, here we would use some words, discipline, disciplinary. Yeah, but here for this discipline 学科, here we actually have three different words. First of all, just like multi, 多, and then second one, inter, 交互, and the next one, trans. So what's the difference? You see, if we track back 10 years ago, we say, there are so many disciplines, like in CS, in statistics, in the ophthalmology, or just like in engineering, right? But right now, you notice that why do we have so many students? You see, like for this principle of data science, totally students come from 4 schemes, like big data, data science, medical data science, and etc. Why? Everywhere we need such things, and then there would be some interaction. Yeah, for example, in the past, when I collaborate with the eye specialist, I provide the traditional statistical analysis. For example, I use the long parametric regression for them. But right now, when I collaborate with the eye specialist, I have to study what? Study the fundus images, 眼底图片. And then how can I do? So I lead AI tools, I lead AI students. Yeah, they can use the deep learning tools. They know AI so that they can analyze the fundus images and then to serve the clinicals. Yeah. So this is the interdisciplinary. And the third was like transdisciplinary. What does the last one mean? Here I can show you another my projects. So currently my team are working on some AI weather forecasting. You see, right now the weather forecasting is important, but it still has some problem. For example, like it has the spatial resolution and also it has the temporal resolution. 时间分辨率、空间分辨率. So how do we understand that? For example, like winning this classroom, can we predict the weather predictably? Or just like winning the PolyU, right? So this is some spatial. Temporal, like winning 1 hour, or just like 6 hours, or just like 1 day, can the forecasting accuracy or not? So in such a situation, we say we try to use AI to remedy the disadvantage of the traditional weather forecasting. We call them NWP, numerical weather forecasting. Yeah, so they had some disadvantage. Use AI technique. That means you can incorporate the station data, and also you can use the global like ERA file data or data put together. It means a data augmentation process. And then you try to extract more information, and then you try to realize a regional, more accurate weather forecasting, right? So if we can really finally reach such a target, then that means what? You have a transdisciplinary work. 超越, yeah. That means you just trans the whole several disciplines and you have some practical results. Yeah, this is 3 words. That's just a developer. Next one, let's see the data science Venn diagram. Yeah, look at this one. Here you can see the middle interaction, right? What's that? Data science. So that means what? For data science, you try to, you can use many words, interaction, integration, or whatever. So here you can see, for example, the right up, we have the mass stat knowledge. And also we have some other thing like the substantive expertise. Yeah, that means it's a domain knowledge. And also like here would be some the hacking skills. And not forget this one. Here you can see machine learning. Yeah, you know 任正非. Yeah, so 任总 always mention what? Machine learning is statistic. You know this word? 机器学习就是统计. Yeah, this is not exactly right, but this is to stand for statistic. So we see here like machine learning actually absorbs a lot of spirits from mathematical statistic and math. So we need to combine one knowledge and then finally it come into being the data science. So here is the one. Attention here, understanding data science here begins with three basic areas. So what is the three basic areas here? Look at the three. So for these three, we can say number one, math, statistics. Number two, programming. Number three, domain knowledge. So for the third one, domain knowledge, when you have to serve or when you try to do a project, naturally you will know that domain knowledge. Yeah, for example, like one of my PhD currently has interest in B2B. Yeah, so he tried to download a lot of data. Yeah, from the like through some software, and then they just study like stable coin and the Bitcoin. Yeah, try to merge a lot of things. So right now he told me he has a lot of knowledge in such coin field. Yeah, so if you try to solve problem, you have to learn its language. Otherwise, you can hardly understand how to model the question, right? For computer program, this is the one I just want to draw your guys' attention. You know, right now for our students, some come from finance, some come from math, stats. So you may not be good at programming, but right now it's time you do so. Yeah. So for example, like Python, you can go to my Google site to learn. And also like you can make fully use of our tutorial documents. For example, like for these teaching slides, during this summer, my research team focused on it. Yeah, we just prepared the slides 3 months ago, and every week, one student will discuss, others will raise the problem for that. So you can see inside, they just use the Python to handle the problem. So not only the tutorial for these teaching slides, you may also try something inside. Um, for example, 爬数据, right? You know, uh, this is a fundamental work. And here in our teaching slides, we just show you the Python structure. Yeah, if you try to 爬数据, yeah, you can find the code in our teaching slides. Yeah, that's one would be help. And the first one, math and statistic. So this is a part of our teaching, but don't worry too much. I mean, through tutorials, we will show you the basic procedure, and we show you examples how to handle that. Yeah. So when it comes to like the midterm or final examination, I think you guys actually can do it. You Katrina, right? Or my past student. Okay, just a very familiar face. Yeah. So here you can see, we can show you some examples and then give you a data set. You try to use Python or just use R to analyze that. No worry if you major in CS, you are not good at statistics. Follow the tutorials, okay? Yeah, I just promise you, the content will be within that, and it will not beyond that, okay? So this is about the, yeah, three basic main. Next one about the math. For the math, here like the type of data model. So what does the data model mean? As I show you, for example, just now I show you this part, right? This is a model, negative binomial, right? For this negative binomial, you have what? Like number three here. Here actually is a distribution rule. Yeah, this is a model. See, a probabilistic model. And then based on it, for example, you can do what? Like you can calculate the mean, calculate the variance. That means the first order moment, second order moment, and also like the MGF. Yeah. And even you have some more things like a Poisson model, a Brownian motion, a like a Wiener process, and etc. Yeah. So this is the type of data model. And next one, the probabilistic part, I will show you later. And then statistical model. For this one, there are too many things. For example, if you try to use a Gaussian mixture, so how can you set your parameters and then do some Gaussian mixture for a latent variable? So that would be a problem. Though it's beyond what we will learn here, okay? Next one, for machine learning here. Yeah, for this part, don't worry. As I just mentioned, for this course, I request you guys to learn a broad range. But for every spectrum, we just learn the fundamental, not deep. Okay. Next one here, computing program. So for the course, we just request you guys the Python. Yeah, it's a must. Yeah, because right now it's very popular. I'm not sure whether you noticed the news. Several months ago, people said like C++ is not safe. So they say we have to translate everything into Python. Yeah, Python is safe. Okay. Uh, Next one. Here, why Python? So Python, here I just want to say, here we say plus, plus. So number one, easy to use. For example, you can use Colab to use. It's slow but stable. And next one, most common. Everybody can learn that. And the third one, huge online community. Yeah, because Python is very stable. People use it, and then they share their experience through the communities. For example, like CSDN, right? If you have math problem, you ask Google, you use CSDN, a lot of people will answer you. So it will help you. And also it has many modules. Yeah, this is a big advantage. So for these modules, yeah, it's pre-built. So when you try to analyze data, you try to find a module and apply it. Yeah, so this one means what? When you try to use Python, you have to pay attention to your memory. I mean, spend several minutes and do some dictation so that you can remember what function you are using, what module you are using. I remember 2 years ago when my PhD students collaborated with students from big data. Yeah, last time they call big data, right now we call it data science, right? So my PhD students majoring in statistics, he tried to use Python, but after one day, he just gave up. He said, sorry, it's quite different from R. For R, we use logic, right? You write code, yeah, your logic works. But when he tried to use the Python, he found that he is not familiar with such modules. He didn't know which function should be applied. Yeah, so he just gave up. And then that one stimulates the collaboration. People in statistics, people in AI, we work together, right? Statistic, finally, we use the words like, yeah, Harris. Yeah, Harris is AI. Yeah. Yeah, so that means what? You have some statistical idea and you have statistical thinking or just the skills, but when you deal with the image data, video data, or some other modalities like text, then you need Python, right? But you don't know Python, so you need to work people like in AI, right? Yeah, let's just have the inter or multidisciplinaries. And here, like the PyTorch, Pandas, and Skitlearn, and also NumPy. Yeah, I think these several are often used if you try to use the Python package. The next one is about the domain knowledge. Yeah, for this domain knowledge, that means, whatever we do, finally your role would be what? Data scientist, 数据科学家. So why and how can we act as a data scientist? You have to enter others' garden to play. You remember these words? Two key ones mentioned. Yeah. So how can we play there? So you go to Alice's garden. That means there would be some domain knowledge. You go into understand the basic, translate their language, and then into some mathematical model, statistical model, and then apply your statistic, your math, or your data science knowledge to solve their problem. So that's why here, yeah, we say the domain knowledge. And here we have some more knowledge. Look at this one. Here is the story. Yeah, you see the upper, the circle is data science, and the bottom, a big circle is what? Here is the statistic. Yeah, here is the statistic, and here is the data science, right? So for data science, you can see very earlier people call it data mining, and then comes like machine learning, data modeling, okay? So anyhow, you have to combine knowledge from several aspects. And next one here, we want to say more about machine learning. Yeah, this is a key part, particularly for our group projects. We have to use machine learning. Yeah, look at this one. Machine learning means what? It means given computers the ability to learn from data without explicit rules being given by a programmer. Yeah, for example, I just realized some of my past students, right? So I should write reference letter for you guys. So usually when I try to write a reference letter, right now, since we have ChatGPT, the work becomes easier. Like I tell ChatGPT what the applicant's name and how long I knew that person, and then why I knew him. For example, like I teach you a course and your performance in that course, right? And then next time I tell them, let me tell the ChatGPT, I would recommend answer assumptively or just something, right? So then when you input what things, sure, you should include the information like what kind of program, university the candidates want to apply. So then a letter generated, you just copy paste, see? So this one actually help you do some automation. Yeah. Yeah, look at this place. Yeah, this is the automate. Yeah, these are the words I want to emphasize. Yeah, machine learning, we tell machine to learn the pattern, and then the machine will help us do some automation. Yeah, this would become a circle. And then here we can say here is a one or worse. Yeah, you can check here. Machine learning as the union, attention here, as the union of someone who has what? Yeah, so for this place, I want to say here we have the words both coding and the math skills, coding and the math, right? And here for this math, you should say not only math, maybe we also include stat, right? Anyhow, coding is a must, but some knowledge also is a must. And then we attempting to, look at this place, we attempting to formalize the definition. And then here, attention, the machine learning combines, look at these words. Here we say the combine, right? This is the one, Julian, yeah, attention the words. Yeah, combine the power of computer, right? With what? Intelligence learning algorithm, yeah. So this is one how we do to automate. So finally, yeah, it can fasten things to automate the discovery of a relationship in data and creates powerful the data models. Yeah, so this is some explanation. Next one is about the statistical model. So this one just means that you take advantage or you use what? Use statistical theorems to formalize relationship. Yeah, 建模. Yeah, formulate 公式化. Yeah, this is something we try to do. And next one, like exploratory data analysis. Yeah, this is very necessary. I mean, each time when you have data means you have variables. For example, yeah, like one example would be in this way. You know, people will have some facial expression like happy, anger, sad, etc. So totally you can have 7 different facial expression, right? But then you just want to see like if you have a face and then which parts will be important, highly related or associated with the facial expression. For example, then people would do something like hide your left eye, hide your right eye, hide your nose, hide your mouth, or just some other parts. Yeah, totally they partition the face into 7 parts and then try to hide one part. Yeah, then in such a image learning, and then like people would find more information. So here exploratory data analysis means what? For every variable, this variable would be a part of your face, right? And then you see whether you're hiding it. That one would affect the the facial expression. Yeah. So here for your facial expression, it means you have 7 classes, right? For these 7 classes, you then see which variable. Remember, here variable just means a part on one's face. Yeah, which variable is important. Yeah, so this is something we try to just explain. Today, I just stop here. Then the tutor will, oh, Sijian is there. So Certis, yeah, Sijian will show you more about, yeah, like how to use the Colab and also the Python.